Our next speaker, Issam Dairanieh, who is with BP, he's the managing director of their ventures group, is a great example of that. He's passionate about impact investing, and specifically within the areas of clean energy, alternative energies, sustainability. And so I would love to welcome to the stage Issam.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So I would like to share with you a few ideas about positioning ourselves for a sustainable future in terms of dealing with energy. So we're talking about powering the future. And what I would like to do is actually present you with a few examples about the kind of things that we should consider as we talk about the future. And there are four main components that I think are absolutely critical for what we want to do. One has to do with the use of technology, and this is a theme that you've already heard from a number of speakers. Then another one that has to do with developing the human capital, and again, this is something that you've heard. And then putting that with capital and then business models, and how the four of them can now come together in developing solutions for the future. I don't expect you to read any of these numbers, but the main message from these four snapshots basically is to say that we need a lot of energy to do different things, and actually energy forms are plentiful. And we can do that in a sustainable fashion without ruining the environment or impacting negatively the places where we live in. And it is about how do you use these different basically resources that are available to us, and starting from what exists today all the way to renewables and other means actually that we can employ with time. And so as technology gets basically into these areas, we're learning more and more how to extract these sources of energy and use them efficiently. But at the same time, we have an increasing number of population, and the per capita use of energy is increasing. The good news is that we can basically meet these challenges without negatively impacting the universe that we live in. So what I would like to do is actually just start first with the role of technology, just talk about that briefly, and choose two examples on when it comes to energy sustainability, what can we do, starting with a couple of words about renewable power, but then I really want to talk more about carbon utilization. There is no silver bullet. There is no one solution that's going to be basically the end all for all kinds of things that we have. We have to be thinking always about portfolio of products, portfolio of solutions that will enable us to get to that sustainable future. And while energy efficiency is important, it's not going to be enough. We have to think about other options. And I will be using actually examples from the place that I work in BP, where we have basically emerged from the area where we have been, in the fossil fuel actually, to go into alternative energy, and just choose examples of what we started doing about 10 years ago, basically spending a little over 8 billion in creating businesses that are in the renewable energy space. And the two examples that I'm sharing here, one is for wind farms, and the other one is for biofuels. But that's something that probably you're familiar with, and you know how impressive the story has been in terms of reducing the cost and bringing this to parity with conventional sources. But it's really important because it's all about the ability to scale these technologies. We know that for a number of years to come, fossil energy is going to stay with us, and it will take time to replace because it took us about 100 years to get here. So it's not going to disappear immediately. So what do you do with carbon? And one solution that people have approached, and for sure BP has done that as well, is sequestration. Can you actually capture and store the carbon? And we have been doing this for over 10 years. But I don't think that's really, that interesting. What I think is really interesting, and that's one of the take-home messages that I would like to leave with you, is month, there are going to be additional announcements how these groups, including BP, actually are going to be working together to create investment opportunities in clean energy and in renewable energy. And finally, in terms of capital to do this, so I'm in a place where there is capital, but there are lots of good ideas actually that are still looking for capital. And while impact investment actually is gaining a lot of ground, we still think that there's a gap in the market for capital that's looking for returns in the median range between, say, 4 and 10%. that this has to be addressed to complete the story. So let me end then with the main takeaway messages. The first one is don't settle, challenge the status quo. And the example I gave you there about taking CO2 and say this is not the problem, we can create actually a solution out of that problem. The second point is think collaboratively. And this is something that you've heard actually from more than one speaker. The magnitude of the problems that we're facing are so big that there is no corporation, not multiple corporations that can handle. The only way we have a chance actually is through working collaboratively. And then the third point is about creating the human capital. Don't be very thankful for what you have here, and then just think about other parts of the world where they can also learn from what you're doing, and in creating this entrepreneurship that can create and can be the engine of the local economies. And the last one is about really how to marry the innovative, disruptive technologies from entrepreneurs with big corporations that have the structure, the infrastructure that can deploy these things, help deploy these things at scale, and then think of the capital that needs to go there. It's not really that it's in either or. You can do well for your company as well as doing good. So with this, I'd like to thank you for your attention.